are starting the first Prathama Charitram. When I initiated the Dhyana Slokam last time, along with Navakshari, I didn't tell you the meaning of that. I told when we do the Prathama Charitram, like every Charitram, all the three stanzas in that has got the Dhyana Slokam of Prathama, Madhyama and Uttara Charitra. So today we will see the meaning for that. Before that, we have to understand this aspect of the three primary forms: Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati. They are like, what is the form like? We all talk about Srishti. Of course, Western people, they talk like, it is emerged from nothing. Nothing can emerge like that. Something cannot emerge from nothing. There should be something. We here talk about the expansion of that potential thing. The reality is this prapancham. But the entire thing was in that avyakta state of the Brahman. How within a seed, the entire tree, the forms of trees with its fruits, flowers, leaves and stems are all hidden within that seed. When it is like, when properly nourished, it comes out as a small plant and expands as a tree. In the same way, the entire prapancham with all its varied creatures, not only creatures, chara ulagam, movables and unmovable, stable and one thing. They all were present in that Brahman, and it became an actuality in the course of time. When the time, it's like the word Srishti. Srishti has got one meaning. It is not creation. They say it is becoming many, one becoming many. Srishti, one of the meanings for Srishti is becoming many. So the one Brahman with all its potencies became the actual reality. The first expansion that happened in that Brahman was this three primary forces. We call them as like, the three states, we can say it. There is inertia, there is dynamism, there is luminosity. Luminosity, okay? So, inertia is tamas. Dynamism is rajas. Luminosity is the knowledge, actually the sattvic aspect of that. Sattva. So these three, the entire prapancham is based on these three aspects. The three gunas we call it as sattva, rajas, tamas. The three gunas, the entire prapancham expanded with different permutation, combination of the gunas. In certain things, rajas was more, in certain things, in different percentages, but all the gunas were present in every being. We have to understand one thing. One thing cannot be completely discarded as rajasic or tamasic or sattvic. All the three gunas in different percentage existed in every being in this world. In every being. So that is the reason we say you cannot write off someone as completely bad. The saying came because of that aspect. You cannot write off someone because These three gunas, even in human beings, not that like, every individual soul had different percentage of that. No two souls are alike in the percentage, because human beings are like, one species. Not that the entire species had the same percentage of sattva, rajas, tamas gunas. Here we are talking about only souls. There is no human beings or animals or plants or anything. Even the stones, I told you, stones also have consciousness, because consciousness in a subdued state. Dormant state, the consciousness is dormant in the stone. So the souls are there in everywhere. Every soul had the different percentage of these gunas according to their prarabdha karma. The karma comes into play when they take birth as something in this prapancha. The karma comes into play as to what percentage these three gunas are going to. So the entire prapancham is made of these gunas. Sattva, rajas, tamas. First we are starting with tamas. Tamas is inertia. There is no destruction. Nothing is destroyed. There is a period where there is a lull period, where there is no activity involved. There is no creation, or there is no sustenance involved. There is no prapancham involved. There is a period, hibernation period. That we call it as inertia. So there is no destruction. There is no destruction. So it only transforms into something else after that inertia. After the period of that hibernation, when it comes back to its form, it comes as something different. Again, the whole prapancham comes back into that. We call it as srishti. Okay, that is, so the inertia, tamasic aspect, which we normally attribute to samhara, it is actually not destruction. It is a period of hibernation. You can call it as hibernation. Okay, so
Tirodhana is that?
Tirodhana is hiding the fact. Turiya. Tirodhana.
Same as Maya.
Huh?
Same as
Maya,
Maya.
yeah, because you are like, the Brahman is hidden by Maya. We are not able to see. Okay? Tirodhana is the fourth stage when you get aware of Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, Turiya. Turiya Theta. Okay? These avasthas, you understand that there is consciousness which is present all through all the stages. That is the awareness that you get it. That is Tirodhana. That we call it as Tirodhana because it's always, you go in search for it now. Because you know that this consciousness is present even when you are sleeping. That is why when you get up, you feel that you had a good sleep, but you don't know what happened in between. In your deep sleep, you don't know what happened. You are completely not aware of that factor because all your sense organs, all your mind is all subdued. Absolutely subdued. They are not working. That is when you slip into the deep sleep state. But when you get up, you realize your consciousness was present even at that time. That is the fourth stage. Understanding that consciousness is present all through Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti state is the Turiya state. Okay? Turiya Dida goes beyond that, not only now understanding it, identifying it and reaching it. That is how that what you say is how your mind, your existence actually is getting evolved as a better human being. as and when each stage you cross it, first understanding that the Turiya stage, that is what Tirodhana is actually hiding. It is being hidden. So you feel like something is being hidden which is watching me all through this. Got it? So this is like, these gunas we are here talking about. The three major gunas or inertia here, because Shakti Upasana always talks about the destruction first, samharam first, and then comes creation, because if you see so, Om, A-O-Ma, I is Srishti, Sthiti is O, Ma is samhara. But here, normally what happens in Devi Pranavam, we have the Sthiti first, Uma. A-U-Ma, okay? When you write it as O-Ma-A, Uma. So, Devi Pranavam, we call it Uma. The name itself, we call it as Devi Pranavam. Like Pranavam is Srishti Sthiti Samharam, which combines into Om, Omkara Rupam. Whereas Ambal starts with Sthiti and then destruction and then again the hope of Srishti. That is the reason it is, Uma is called this thing. But here, probably what I feel this tamas comes first into this Charitra, because tamas is the worst enemy in our progression, in your spiritual progression. More than rajas, more than even, sattvic is the ultimate. More than rajas, the tamas aspect is supposed to be the big hindrance to your impediment in your path. That's the reason they keep it as the first one. So the three aspects, tamas, rajas and sattva. Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati. These three forms, they are still in the unmanifested stage. The three gunas are present as Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati, Tamas, Rajas and Sattva. They are still in the unmanifested stage, and when they manifest again, because there is a big question whether this Kali, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati are the same as what we worship. What we worship is also a form of them. I am not saying no, but it has got more our interpretation than what it is original. They are formless. Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati are formless aspects of the three major gunas. Whereas what we worship as Kali, Lakshmi or Saraswati, Durga, all in the name of what we see, what we attribute as this. Because our comprehension is very limited to our senses. So we cannot understand what is that of that magnitude. So you cannot get confused with the names, because the names are similar. We only gave the names. We gave the names because what we were able to understand, we gave the names. Okay, this is what? This is that Kali, so we also call her Kali. This Mahakali is the personification of tamas, the tamoguna. So now, in three episodes, mythological episodes, are mentioned in Devi Mahatmyam. You can call it like it is both outer experience as well as inner experience. They are like, it is more allegorical, more an allegory, like what is happening, you just want to relate to that. It is put in a story form. I feel like that when I look at it. Then what is outer experience? Outer experience comes, there is a stability, cosmic stability is there for the functioning of the universe. When the stability is threatened by adharma, If everything falls into dharmic way of life, then it will be, cosmos will be stable. The cosmic stability is disturbed when adharma comes in. To again bring back to the stable, bring it back to that level, these forces, these divine forces come down to make it like, whatever is adharma, that are all like, taken off. So again the dharmic aspect, cosmic stability is brought back to the cosmos. The stability is brought back. This is the outer thing. The inner things are many. The first one is, we all know that it is ego. When that, everything else, even other impurities like, the desire or jealousy, envy, all those things, actually the root cause is that ego. The I consciousness in each one of us. That is the problem. This only gives rise to all the other impurities. So the ego becomes the main inner force that had to be fought. So we use this. They just help us get out of that. Okay. The 3 stories mean only that. Now we will come to the Dhyana Slokam, because first chapter, so Dhyana Slokam we will start. This is actually just an introduction. We have talked, we had a separate introduction session for the entire Devi Mahatmyam. This is just an introduction to start with, that's all. Dhyanam Om Khadgam Chakragadeshu Chapa Pariganchulam Bushundim Shiraha. So these are all the things. Dhyanam means how the deity looks like. So, what all she is holding? Khadgam means sword. Chakram, discus, chakram. Gadeshu. Gada is the mace. Gadeshu chapa, arrows and the bow. Parigam I have told is an iron bar kind of a thing. Iron mace or iron bar. Parigam. Shulam is a spear. Shulam. Bushundi, I have told like, it is like a sling. Normally we call it as gun. Aimed and used. Like sling is also something that has to be aimed. Shiraha, a severe human head. See, first I will just explain the meaning of this and I will tell you what it means. Okay. Shankham Sandatathim Karais. So, Shankham, conch, all these things, she has got it in all her hands. Trinayanam, she has 3 eyes. Sarvanga Bhushakratam. She is adorned with all kinds of jewelry, gems-studded jewelry, all divine, precious jewelry. Neelas Madhyuthi. Neela, they're like a blue sapphire. Neela means the stone, blue sapphire. Her complexion, the radiation is like blue sapphire, the gemstone. Masya Pada Dashakam. This is a very, very interesting aspect. Masya means mastakam, the head. Masya Pada, 10. Dashakam, 10 heads and 10 feet. Normally we have seen Mahakali with 10 hands. But here in the Dhyana Slokam, that is, we have to understand that. Here in the Dhyana Slokam, they have mentioned about 10 heads and 10 legs and not about the hands. Masya Pada Dashakam. She has her form is that of 10 legs. She has got 10 heads, 10 hands, 1 body. So it is like that. It is huge. She is like, from earth to the sky. She's huge. She has got, why this 10? I will explain to you after the description. So, Mahasya Pada Dashakam, Seve Mahakalika. I worship that Mahakali. Mahakali with all these weapons in her hand, in her blue, sapphire-like complexion, radiation, and with 10 heads and 10 legs, I worship her. Yamasthaut swabhithe harau kamalajo hantum madhum kaitavam. Who was praised or extolled by harau kamalajo? Hari, who Nabi Kamalam. Hari is Nabi Kamalam only, Brahma emerges. Harau kamalajo, that is one description of adjective that is used for Brahma. Kamalajo means the one who is born in the lotus. Harau kamalajo means Hari is Nabi Kamalam. Okay. Hantum, why he praised and extolled Kali, Brahma? Because he wants Vishnu to kill Madhu and Hantum Madhum Kaitava. To kill Madhu and Kaitava, the two demons. He extolled Mahakali to make Vishnu do the needful. So this is the meaning of it from the outside. Like I will just read towards the end I think we will go through it once, not now. So now, I told you this is the tamasic aspect that presides over the first Charitra. The 10 hands or the 10 limbs, we call it as, not hands. Let me not specifically say as hands. 10 limbs, they say 10 directions. There are 4 cardinal directions. We all know east, west, north, south. And then you have intermediary 4, 8 and top and the bottom. So the 10 directions, it only shows that she is present everywhere. She is omnipresent. She is present everywhere. So the 10 limbs denote 10 directions. Her sword. Now individually we will take what the weapons mean. Her sword represents knowledge that destroys ignorance. Severing head is one of the things that we say sword does. It is only when you submit your ego you get knowledge. Ego has to be vanquished to get knowledge. The sword represents that knowledge. It says the purpose of that is you have to first get over that ego. So that ignorance, the ego only gives that ignorance. So it, knowledge actually, if you see so, knowledge severes all the temporary things. All the temporary things. That is why sword actually does it. No, severes the head. Everything temporary is vanquished by the knowledge. Destroyed by the moment you light a lamp, the darkness vanishes. In the same way, the moment the knowledge comes, the ignorance disappears. So it destroys the ignorance. And the chakra. Again, chakra only denotes the wheel of time. Chakra denotes the wheel of time. The wheel of time also means that everything that has name and form comes to an end. Everything with the wheel of time, we understand that it is like, progressing. Yesterday somebody is there, today we are not there, tomorrow we may have to go. So the thing continues. Everything that has got names and forms, there is no permanent states for them here. That is what the wheel of time It is merciless, but it does its work. Creation, divine creation, the destruction, everything should be merciless. If you have some kind of a mercy, then why we call the divine so merciful? It only gives you a shade for you to, in the heat of summer. It gives a shade, but you have to go through. You cannot get rid of your summer, but I can give you a chhatri there. Chhatreshwari will come and hold an umbrella for us, but you have to walk the distance. You have no other choice. So it is so merciless. The mace destroys adharma, unrighteousness. The bow is regarded as tamasic aspect of ego. Bow is regarded as tamasic aspect of ego. The arrows, we all know, is the sensory organs. We have seen it in Lalita. Why they call it as tamasic aspect of ego? Probably because the bow within Lalitambika's hand, we call it as more like, sugar. It is like, boost your ego probably. The iron bar means restraint or self-control. Bushundi is the self-control. Bushundi, no. Parigam. Parigam is the self-control. That iron bar is parigam. The sphere, the shulam, is a metaphor for penetrating insight of spiritual awareness. She just pierces in your heart so you get to know what is actually inside. It is only metaphorically it is meant. It is not really she's going to come and pierce you with that. But her thing is, see, these are all the things that we have attributed. We have only attributed all these things, what is in their hands. Because we want certain things when they do. Like this aspect of it is going to improve your knowledge or So we put all the weapons and things like that in the hand symbolically to represent that they do this kind of jobs. The severed human heads, I don't need to say anything about that because it is the vanquished ego. Vanquished ego only is completely, because head only denotes ego. No? It only gives the identification. Without head it is called something else. The conch. The conch is actually the sound of the conch. The sound that comes from the conch, it kind of awakening the divinity in the area wherever it is. You can say that it destroys ignorance. The three eyes represent past, present, and the future. So she is present. She is watchful in the past, in the present, and in the future. She is ever watchful. You can say that, she is ever watchful. The blue-black complexion of, this is the beautiful one. The blue-black complexion of Kali, which is equal to the radiance of a blue sapphire, not only normally people say tamasic aspect is described as blue-black form. We have to understand one more thing which is so beautiful. It is the night sky. Here we talk about Ratri Shuktam. That is the reason we have Ratri Shuktam as part of the Chandipat. So Ratri Suktam only describes the beauty of that night sky with stars shining. When everything is completely, the entire prapancham is resting. That is the resting period for all of us. So the blue-black complexion of hers not only denotes that of some tamasic aspect, but also the night sky which is endless, where there is no boundary to the sky, it is her magnificent form, her infinitude form, that is mentioned as blue complexion. This is actually what they mean by all these things. It is just not. It is not what you read or what you recite. It is something that is beyond that. Chandika Devi, Om Namah Chandikaya. Chandika Devi, Bhaskara Raya calls her in his Guptavati, which is the Guptavati, I told you, is the commentary for Devi Mahatmyam, what Bhaskara Raya has written. He calls her as the Supreme Brahman, absolute consciousness. The beauty is, I read about a Bengal poet, Kamala Kanta. A Bengal poet, he has very cryptic. The Chandika form is the form of the formless. It's a very beautifully explained line, form of the formless is Chandika. Brahman is formless, there is no form. The form that we give for the formless is Chandika. It's beautiful, no? So, Markandeya. The sage Markandeya now narrates the story of the Mahatmyam. As I told you in the beginning, he was talking to his disciple Kraustiki Bhaguri. His disciple name was Kraustiki Bhaguri, and he was explaining to him each Manvantara what is happening. Okay. In this story, the story that we are going to see in the Prathama Charitra, we have three characters in that. One is a sage, one is a king. Actually, the sage becomes the narrator of the entire Saptashati. Markandeya comes in the beginning and comes towards the end to conclude the Mahatmya. But the entire portions were narrated by the sage only. So the sage, who is a knowledgeable Brahmin, the king, who was a king and who has now lost his kingdom, the king, and a merchant. They lived in the second Manvantara. This story, what Markandeya is relating, the setting is, he is describing long ago it happened. That is, this story of these three people happened in the second Manvantara. The setting of Devi Mahatmyam, when Markandeya Rishi, Kraustiki Bhaguri, when this conversation happens in the seventh Manvantara. Okay. Got it? So the story actually of the king, the seer, king and the merchant happened in the second Manvantara, which is being explained by Markandeya to his disciple in the seventh Manvantara. The setting is the seventh Manvantara. This you have to be very clear. This happened long back, I think, he's telling the story. So the Devi Mahatmyam actually begins as to how the virtuous king named Suratha loses his kingdom, and how he goes to the forest and he comes across the Vaishya and then the sage. We'll continue this, okay? Om Aim Markandeya Vacha. Aim, you all know, is the Bijam, Vagbhava Bijam. We call it Vagbhava Bijam, is also called as Saraswati Bijam. It is, we have to say, we have always seen Saraswati figure is adorned in white sari. Knowledge, because she represents knowledge, it is pure consciousness. The purity we wanted to denote, so we put a white sari for her. So that is, Aim is Vagbhava Bijam. And now we will come to this story. Savarni Suryadhanayo Yomanu Katyateshtamah. Savarni, who is the son of Suryadhanayo. Savarni is the name of the Manu, the progenitor of the 8th. That is what? Manu Katyateshtamah, 8 Manvantaras. He is the sovereign progenitor of 8th Manvantara. Manu of the 8th Manvantara. Savarni Suryadhanayo. Surya is the son of Surya, son of the sun god. Yo Manu Katyateshtamah. He is called the 8th Manu. He is the sovereign Manu of the 8th Manvantara. Nishamaya, listen to me. Tat udbhattim vistarad gadatoma. I will explain to you elaborately about the story of how his birth. Now, Savarni has not come. Savarni is he is telling what is going to happen in the 8th Manvantara. He is in the 7th Manvantara. He is going to how Savarni became the Manu of the 8th Manvantara. That is what he is. This is the introduction he has given. Savarni Suryadhanayo Yomanu Katyateshtamah Nishamaya. Listen to me. Tatudbhattim, the story of his birth. Vistarad Gadato Mama. Elaborately I explain to you. Describe that. Savarni actually, the story now we are going to see, became the Manu of the 8th Manvantara because of the blessings of Mahamaya. Devi, Mahakali Rupam. Now we are going to see the authority of the Devi only made him the 8th Manu, 8th Manvantara, Manu of the 8th Manvantara. So Manvantara, now we have been using this term so many times, like what is a Manvantara? A day of Brahma is equal to 432 crores of years of human years, of like our years. 432 crores years, human years is equal to 1 day of Brahma. Okay? 1 day of Brahma is divided into 14 parts and each part is called a Manvantara. 1 day of Brahma is divided into 14 parts and each part is called a Manvantara. So there are 14 Manvantaras that exist in Brahma's day. Okay? So this Savarni, who is going to be the Manu of the 8th Manvantara, actually lived in the 2nd Manvantara as a mortal king named Suratha. Now we are going to see the Suratha, the story of Suratha only now. Because this happened in the 2nd Manvantara, he lived. So Suratha became Savarni in the 8th Manvantara. That time he was a normal mortal ruler in 2nd Manvantara, became the sovereign Manu of the 8th Manvantara. How he became? It is only with the blessings. We are going to see how he became now. How a normal mortal could become a sovereign Manu of 1 Manvantara. How he got transformed and what brought him to that level. Okay? So this is the story of Suratha. Suratha we are going to see now. Mahamayanu bhavena yatha manvantaradipah sa babhuva mahabhaha savarnis tanayor. Mahamayanu bhavena. It is because of the blessings of Mahamaya. He became Manvantaradipah. Suratha became the Adhipa, Manvantara Adhipa, the sovereign of that 8th Manvantara. Sa babhuva mahabhagas savarnis tanayor. Babhuva is the sun, illustrious sun. Illustrious Mahabhaga. Savarnis tanayor ravehe is sun again. Surya. He is the Savarnis tanayo. Savarni is the son of Surya. He became Mahamayanu bhavena. because of the blessings of Mahamaya, because of the authority of Mahamaya, he became the Manvantaradipa. Okay? Next line. Swarochishenthare purvam Chaitra Vamsa Samudbhava. Now we are coming to Surata. Now Surata only we have to learn about Surata. No? Savarni is going to come only in the 8th Manvantara, so the story has already happened, past. Okay? Swarochishenthare purvam. Swarochisha is the Manu of the 2nd Manvantara. Swarochisha. The Swarochishenthare purvam. Purvam means long back. Purvam. Chaitra Vamsa Samudbhava, who belonged to the Chaitra Vamsha, lineage of Chaitra. When Swarochisha was the Manvantara of the 2nd Manu of the 2nd Manvantara, in Chaitra Vamsham, this Suratha Nama Raja, there was one Raja named Suratha. Samaste Kshidi Mandale. So he ruled over the whole earth. He ruled over the whole earth. So Swarochisha is the Manu of the 2nd Manvantara. When he was the Manu, in Chaitra Vamsham, in the lineage of Chaitra, there was one Raja who was born in that Vamsha named Suratha, and he ruled over the entire earth. Okay, so we understand he must have been very strong and brave person, courageous person, because he could rule over the entire earth. Tasya palayata samyak praja putra nivaurasa. Samyak is justly doing, according to the rule. He looked after his subjects justly. Praja, Putra, like his own children. Like his own children, he took care of his Praja. He was a very popular king. So he took care of his Praja, his citizens, like his own children. Slowly his character is now, like, normal person cannot be attracted towards the worship or progress in the spirit. You have to be a just person, you have to be a good person first. Your basic character has to be good to take the next step. That is why this line is very, very important. He treated everyone justly. And he treated every citizen like his own children. So, Bhabova Shatravo Bhupa Kola Vidvamsinastada. In spite of his good character, there were princes belonging to Kola Vidvamsi. Kola Vidvamsi. Kola is a capital city in those days, which was very, very powerful, like Ayodhya. Ayodhya means Yuddha. You cannot fight against Ayodhya. Like that, Kola was a capital city which was very, very powerful. That was a challenge in those days, whoever can conquer that. So those who conquered those cities is called Kola Vidvamsi. Vidvamsi means destroy. Kola Vidvamsi, they must have destroyed that city. To conquering it, the destruction happens, it becomes an eventuality. So they are called Kola Vidvamsi. So Shatravo Bhupa, there are princes from the Kola Vidvamsi who were his enemies, because even though he was good person, he had enemies in Kola Vidvamsi. Okay? Tasya thaira bhavadyuddham adiprabhalatandina. So what happens? Because he is a just king, he has resolved to fight against them. He has got a very powerful army. Prabhala Dandina has got very mighty, powerful army with him. He thought, I will go and fight, resolve these people. Nyunairabi sathairyuddhe kola vidvamsi birjitah. Nyunairabi, even though they were inferior or weak, they came out of the battle successfully. Kola vidvamsi birjitah. He lost the battle. Suratha lost his battle against Kola Vidvamsi, though his army was more powerful than the enemies. Why? Now relate it to us. You may have good wealth, you are seated in a powerful position in the society, your socio-economic status is high, everything is good, but why you fail? Because of your inner qualities. If you don't have that kind of good character within you, at some point of a time you are going to lose everything. Though it all looks very powerful, Maya. Slowly they are bringing in the concept of Maya like this. He had a very powerful army, but still he lost to a weaker person, weaker enemy. Then the next comes, he says like, his ministers were against him. The enemies were not from outside, but from his own kingdom. That is what they are saying. Tadasvapura mayado nijadesadivo. So what happens? He was ruling the entire entire year, all over the world. But now he is restricted only to his city. Swapura mayado nijadeshadivo bhavati. So he returned and left only with his province. The rest of the things are gone with Kola Vidvamsis. Akrantasa, this is what is. Who overpowered him? Akranta means overpowering. Akrantasa mahabhagos taistada prabalaribihi. His adversaries, prabalaribihi, mighty adversaries. They were within his own province who brought him down. So the illustrious Mahabhagas, the illustrious Surata had adversaries within the province, not out. That is the reason he lost to his weaker enemy so easily. It is only after he came back to his province he realizes that Amadhyir Bhalibhir. Now there is no strength. See, we all can look like how molehill looks. Inside it is all like, all holes inside. It will look like a molehill, but inside it is not strong. So if you're just going to touch it, the whole thing will fall. It's like that. No? If inside is not strong, it's all gone. The wood, so many times the wood may look so stable, but inside if the insects have eaten it, anytime it is going to fall. So his adversaries, now he is bereft because his enemies are inside. Adversaries are inside his province. His ministers, durbalasya duratmabihi, they are corrupted. His ministers were mighty. Amadhye balibir. They are very mightily strong. Corrupted. Dushtar. All adjectives they have used. They are evil. Durbalasya. Durbalam. Not with good intention at all. It is only used in the wrong. They seized duratmabihi. So what happens? They seized the power. They overpowered him. Kosho bhalam chapa hridam. Looted his treasury. Looted his treasury in his own city. The purpose of those ministers were to bring him down, and the loot, the treasury that he has built, he has collected over the years. So Kosho Bhalam Cham, so it started depleting. The treasuries, this thing, it started depleting. Tathrapi Svapur, even in his own city. So we understand now this happened, the defeat happened because of internal problem, not outside. Tatho Mrghaya Vyajan. So he got really dejected. What, my own people are going against me? That's what he's telling. Tatho Mrghaya Vyajena. Vyajena means in the pretext. Mrghaya Vyajena means in the pretext of going for hunting. Mrghaya Vyajena, in the pretext of hunting. Tatho Mrghaya Vyajena. Hritaswamya Sabopati. Because he was robbed of this kingdom, he, on the pretext of going for hunting, Ekaki Hayamaruhya, he mounted on his horse, alone he went to the dense forest. Jagama Gahanam Vanam, he went to the forest, dense forest, mounted on a horse, alone, Ekaki, alone he went. He got dejected by the way his ministers acted. Tatrashrama Madrakshi Dvijavaryasya Medasa. He came upon a hermitage of Medas. Medas. Dvija means a Brahmin. Dvija because they twice born. They are called as twice born. Their birth happens actually at the time of birth, and when they put the sacred thread, it is considered to be being born again. So they are always called as twice born. Dvija, that is the reason they call this. This Medasa had a hermitage, a retreat kind of a thing in the forest. He came upon that hermitage. Munis Shishobashobidam. He and his disciples welcomed. This hermitage was graced by the sages' disciples. I mean, it means that they are all living there. Prashantha Vyapada Kirna. There he saw animals, wild beasts, moving around in a peaceful manner. That is the power of the peace. They just want to give us an idea about what the hermitage looked like. Even the wild beasts were roaming peacefully without harming anybody. It is that kind of... See, you can now imagine how peaceful the whole atmosphere, serene the whole atmosphere must have been. He is going there. The atmosphere is serene, where even the wild beasts are at peace. The king, who is completely disturbed, mentally disturbed, is going to that kind of a quiet retreat. We have to see now whether he is able to enjoy that same peace. The wild animals are at peace. This is very... See, the way these people have described it, it is astonishing. The wild animals are at peace. Prashantha Vapadakirna. Wild animals are at peace. He's a human being. He's a Raja. But his mind is a little frustrated. Whether he gets a real peace when he went to that kind of a place. This is the question that we have to all ask ourselves. We all go so many times on a retreat, still come back to the same tumultuous life back. Tasthav kanchit sakalam cha muninatena satkritah. So he was welcomed by the sage and the disciples, and he stayed there for some tasthav kanchit sakalam cha. So you are staying with the elevated soul there. Still you have to find peace. The place is peaceful. The the sage is peaceful, the disciples are peaceful, everything is peaceful.
Animals.
Prashant, that is what wild animals are at peace. They lost their character and they became. See what an irony it is. What an irony it is, no? So he remained in that ashramam for some time. So chintayat tada tatra mamatva krishta chetana. This is exactly what we are. We go to the best of places. Idhar se shuru ho jayega. Did I switch off the stove? Did I switch off all the lights? You're gone ahead. Or you want to look behind. But the thoughts come. Did I tell the milk guy? Did I tell the flower guy? All those things, no? That thought comes to me. That's why I'm saying it practically. Whether I did it or not. In the same way, so his mind starts reflecting now. When everything is smooth, he is away from the scene of action. He is in a retreat and now he is thinking loudly inside. So chintayat, thoughts also come. It is reflecting also. What has happened? He is just want to comprehend what has happened. Tatra mamatva krishta chetana. This is one of the the crux of the entire existence is mentioned only in this. Mamatva krishta chetana. Mamatvam. Self-centered. Mamatva krishta chetana. The thoughts were not about how beautiful the animals are roaming there or what the Medasa is teaching the disciples or the surroundings of the atmosphere. Mamatva krishta chetana. We are thinking about his own self. Even in that kind of a thing, Prashanta Vapadakirnam, even the wild beasts are at peace. This man is so selfish, self-centered. Not only him, by saying him, I mean each one of us. The beautiful thing about this Devi Mahatmyam is, I had told you when the introduction part itself. We don't know what actually the real world looks like. Why we call it as Maya? Why we call this world as Mahamaya? Because we, each one of us, have the perception of the world, and if there are millions of souls in here, millions, trillions of souls that are present in the Prapancham, there are that many worlds are present here. We really don't know what actually the world looks like. This is a very, very important message this one conveys, because our world is not the world actually is. Because we are guided by the perceptions, our own experience, what the life has brought in, and our attitude towards life, towards everything. The perception of the world that I see is controlled by my senses, my ego, and my attitude, and my experience. It cannot be, I will not say it need not be, it cannot be the same as yours, because your senses and your attitude, your experiences tell you a different world. Because I see this world through my eyes, through my experience, through my panchendriya, I feel whatever I am thinking is only correct. We don't understand. No, it was a big awakening for me. That is the reason I am saying this, explaining this to this level. We all think what we do, what we perceive is the only right thing. We don't understand each and every being in this, from the plant, from the each and everything. I don't need to, need not be a human being. Even an animal you take, even a plant you take. Each being has got a world of its own, world of its own understanding, world of its own attitude. It can differ. So what so many times the conflicts can come in our lives? Because we want to impose our perception onto something else. We don't understand that something else also has perceived its own world through its senses. Orange cannot be mixed with an apple juice. Let it be an apple, let this be an orange. These two are two existing things. So, when you are trying to impose what you have perceived, then that means how much our ego is there. I am the only one who is correct. Mamatva Krishna Cheda. Every one of us are at fault. I am not saying only Suratha is at fault. He is representing us. He is actually representing us. Each one of us have that fault. We don't think, this is my world, I am saying, okay, it is that world, let him go. We are not able to move on. We immediately judge them, judgmental. We judge them. We write off them so many times. Because what I feel is correct. My ego says that. No? So, Mamatva Krishna Chetana, this one word actually put me into so much of thoughts. Mamatva Krishna Chetana. We all, Suratha is no one else but representative of us. So, his thoughts, even in that atmosphere, his thoughts were all self-centered thoughts. You will be surprised the next line when what he says, like, Mad purvaih palitham purvam maya hinam puramhita. Mad purvai, my ancestors, palitham purvam, who ruled over this, who governed this province, now I have left behind. Maya hinam, I lost it and I have left behind that. Mad vrutyai staira sadvrutyai dharmadav palyate. Mad vrutyais, he says, my officials, perverse officials, mad vrutyai, thaira sadvrutyai, dharmadav palyate. Are they governing that province according to dharma? What is your problem? You have left it, no? We don't do that. We are worried about the thing what we have left behind. That's what I told you. Suratha is our representative here. So we all have to go to the Atma Chintana about what is happening to him and what is happening to us. So I have left Mat Purvaih Palitam Puram, what my ancestors have built, that province, that city that I have left behind. And my perverse officials, I don't know whether they are governing it in a just way. Dharmadav palyatenava, whether they are justly doing according to dharma or not. Na jhane na, see, this is the worst way. Na jhane chanat. It is like switching off the gas stove. As simple as that. He is a Raja, he cannot switch off the gas stove, so he is thinking about his elephant. Na jane sa pradhano me surahasti sadamada. Surahasti. That elephant that he was riding on, which was really valiant, Shurahasti. Shurahasti means very valiant elephant with great prowess. Na jane mama vairi vasham yadha khan bhogana panapsite. Na jane. I don't know, now that it has fallen into the hands of my adversaries, whether it is doing good. See his concern. From where to where? I don't know what comforts he will enjoy now. Because it is my elephant, they must be not treating him properly. Bhoganu palapside. Khan bhoganu palapside. All the comforts that he had enjoyed at the time when I was there, I don't know what he na jane. I don't know what happened to him. Shurahasti. See, straight from the city to the elephant has come. My precious elephant has fallen into the hands of my adversaries. Ye mamanu gatha nityam. Now immediately the anger towards people who were, you call them as sycophants, people who are flattering him. Now the anger is directed towards them. Ye mamanu gatha nityam prasada dana bhojanaihi. Who were just feasting along with me, like constantly they were asking me favor, prasada, asking me favor and feasting. The sycophants. Anuvrittim dhruvam dhetya kurvantyanya mahibhrata. Now I am sure, because they don't care who is sitting in the chair. For them, whoever is sitting in the chair, they will fall at their feet. Whether I am sitting or my adversary is sitting doesn't matter to them, because they are all like, people are very happy if they get some gifts. So now they will be submitting themselves to those adversaries. Kurvat yanya mahibratan. Those people, those other people, other lords, dhruvam, they will be staying with that lord. They are not loyal to me. They are not loyal to me. Asamyak vyayashilastai. Kurvat bi satatam vyayam. Kurvat bi satatam vyayam. Vyayam means treasures. Treasury. The wealth that I have amassed. The wealth is called vyayam. Kurvat bhi satatam vyayam. The relentlessly I have amassed this wealth. Asamyak vyayashilastai. Because of their extravagance, the wealth I laboriously amassed, sanchita soti dukkhena kshayam gosho gamishyati. Kshayam gosho, the treasure, the wealth will deplete now. The wealth will surely deplete because of their extravagance. Asamyak vyayashilaste, because of their extravagance, whatever kurvat bhi satatamyam, whatever wealth that I have amassed, accumulated, sanchita means accumulated, soti dukkhena kshayam will surely deplete. Kshayam gamishyati means will deplete. Kosham means the wealth, the treasury, it will deplete. Edat chanyacha satatam chintayamasa parthiva. Not only these questions, so many questions are when you are in a very undisturbed atmosphere, you are getting all kinds, the mind is working. Like, when we sit in the puja meditation only, all thoughts will come. Right or wrong, every thought will be there only when we do the sit for the meditation. It is like that. He is in that kind of a setting. All edat chanyacha sadatam chintayamasa. He is worried. He is pondering over a lot of questions. The king, why he is not able to get such a good person being me, such a powerful person, how I became like this. He could not comprehend why it happened like that. Tatra viprashrama abhyashe vaisyamekham tadarshasah. That is when he caught sight of one merchant approaching the ashram. Tatra viprashrama abhyashe vaishyam ekham. One merchant was approaching he saw him, tadarshasah. He got sight of one merchant approaching the ashram, the hermitage. Ye prishtastena kastvambo heduscha aghamanetrakah. He's now started questioning. He got somebody, he was alone all the while, because both Medasa and his disciples were all busy with all the regular stuff they were doing. Now he found one, he forgot that he is a Raja. No, Raja will not ask a Praja like that. After all, the merchant must have been his Praja. No? He forgot about that aspect of being a king also. So he started. Prishtastena kastvam. Who are you? Vo hetuscha aghamanetrakah. What brings you here? Hetuscha aghamanetrakah. What brings you here? Sashoka iva kasmatvam. Why you look so sorrowful? As though he is very happy. Durmana. You look dejected. Why you look so sorrowful and dejected? Saprishtastvena kastvambo hetuscha agamanetrakah. Sashoka iva kasmatvam durmana iva lakshya. You look so lakshya. You look, your face looks that you are depressed and dejected. You are in deep sorrow. For a minute, the merchant was shocked. He's the Raja of this place. Why he is talking to me like an ordinary person? For a second, because he's very common questions he has been asking. So he was a little taken aback. This Raja, why he is asking me this kind of questions and why he is here. He also didn't know why he is here. Ityakarnya vachastasya bhupathe pranayoditam. Because this man, this Raja is talking so friendly like a friend, first he understood he's a Raja. First I have to pay my respects to him. So first he bowed to him respectfully. Pranayoditam. Pratyuvacha satam vaishya. Then replied his questions. Pratyuvacha satam vaishya. Prashraya manaton nrupam. The questions, nrupam means the king. The questions the king asked, then he started replying him. For the questions the king asked. Prashraya pratyuvacha satam vaishya. Prashraya manaton nrupam. Whatever the questions the king asked, he started replying. Interesting. Now we did up to this Tuesday, no? Now we'll just recite the entire thing. If you can follow, you recite, okay? Listen, no problem, okay? Prathamodhyayah Dhyanam Om Khadgam Chakragadeshu Chapa Pariganchulam Bushundim Shiraha Shankam Sandatatim Karaistranayanam Sarvanga Bhushavrutam Neelas Madhyuti Masya Padadashakam Seve Mahakalikam Yamastau Swapideharau Kamalajo Hantum Madum Kaithabam Om Namaschandikaye Om Aim Markandeyo Vacha. This Om Aim Markandeyo Vacha, if people are not initiated into Navakshari, should not mention. That is the reason that has been given in a very, not in the block letters. Whatever is in the block letters is common to all. Savarnis Suryatanayo Yo manu katyateshtamah nishamayatadutpattim vistarad gadato mama mahamayanubhavena yatha manvandaradipah sabhabuva mahabhagas savarnistanayorave Svarocishentare purvam chaitra vamsa shamudbhavah Surato nama raja bhut samaste kshithimandale tasya palayatas samyak prajah putrani vaurasan babhuvushatravo bhupa kola vidvamsinastada tasya tairabhavat yuddham adiprabaladandilah न्यूनैरभिषक्तैर्युद्धे कोला विद्वंसिभिर्जितः तस्ततस्वपुरमायातो निजदेशाधिपोऽभवत् आक्रान्तः स महाभागस्तैस्तदा प्रबलारिभिः अमात्यैर्बलिभिर्दुष्टैः दुर्बलस्य दुरात्मभिः कोशो बलं चापकृतं तत्रापि स्वपुरे ततः ततो मृगया व्याजेन हृतस्वाम्यः स भूपतिः एकाकी हयमारुह्य जगाम्य गहनं वनं स तत्राश्रममद्राक्षीत् द्विजवर्यस्य मेधसः प्रशान्तस्वापताकीर्णं मुनिशिष्योपशोभितम् तस्थौ कञ्चित् सकालं च मुनिना तेन सत्कृतः इतश्चेतश्च विचरन् तस्मिन् मुनिवराश्रमे सोचिन्तयत्तदा तत्र ममत्वाकृष्टचेतनः मत्पूर्वैः पालितं पूर्वं मया हीनं पुरं हि तत् मद्भृत्यैस्तैरसद्वृद्धैर्धर्मदः पाल्यते न वा न जाने स प्रधानो मे शूरहस्तिः सदा मदः मम वैरिवशं याथ कान् भोगानुपलप्स्यते ये ममानुगता नित्यं प्रसादधनभोजनैः अनुवृत्तिं ध्रुवं तेभ्य कुर्वन्त्यन्यमहीभृताम् असम्यग्व्ययशीलस्तैः कुर्वद्भिः सततं व्ययम् सञ्चितः सोति दुःखेन क्षयं कोशो गमिष्यति एतच्चान्यच्च सततं चिन्तयामास पार्थिवः तत्र विप्राश्रमाभ्यासे वैश्यमेकं ददर्शसः सपृष्टस्तेन कस्त्वं वो हेतुश्चागमनेत्रकः सशोक इव कस्मात्त्वं दुर्मना इव लक्ष्यसे इत्याकर्ण्यवचस्तस्य भूपतेः प्रणयोदितम् प्रत्युवाच स तं वैश्यः प्रश्रयावनतो नृपम्. We will continue the thing. We'll learn it on next Tuesday and then continue it. The classes will now be on Thursdays for the explanation. Any doubts? Interesting story, no? It is. That is what so many times this is recited only as a story, but so we have to relate it to ourselves. That is why the outer experiences that we get to see it, or what is happening inside. It is only the expansion of what happens inside. Outer experience. That's why when we say, like, if a person is motivated in a certain way, if he is so sincere in his devotion from within, like, not only in the spiritual part, even so many worldly matters, when you see, like, some people are very determined to achieve what they want to achieve. And they work towards it relentlessly. It is not like, things, they wait for the things to fall in. They work hard and you see even circumstances coming for them in tune with what they are having inside, the aspirations that they have inside. Why it happens to some people, and then that must be the force, what the whole prapancham acts towards what he wants. It's not only in the spiritual path. It is the alienation, the inside and outside. The outside, what you see, is the expansion of what is inside. That is how we have to look at it. So that way the Mahatmyam actually explains beyond the stories, the mythological stories. That is what actually Bhaskara Raya has written in Guptavati. He said, it is only people who can understand it. Otherwise, many people just read it and just go. It's like stories. It's very easy to read. Once the story starts, it's very easy to read. Then reading story is always fun. So many times you read and reread. We all become children when we come to reading or listening to stories. No? So that is something that draws. But what actually is being conveyed is known to very few people. To very few people who have the desire to understand it. That's why he said it is Guptavati. And Gupta means it's highly secret, what is inside. It only will fall in hands who are deserving, not to everyone. That's the idea of it. Though we have started today. Next.
But what is the Mahatmya of just reciting it without knowing the meaning?
There's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing wrong in that. See, if you keep, then it's like Sasnam. It's like when as a small kid, you take your kid to the temple. It will not be looking at the deity, it will be looking at you. What you are doing. Try to replicate it. No? If you are doing praying, if you are closing your eyes, it will also close and will look at the side, whether you are opening or still closing the eyes. No? And then slowly, it becomes independent. If it's destined, like they pursue the path. In the same way, reciting the Mahatmyam, it is not useless. Because everything is a bijam here. Not only Mahatmyam. I will tell this about all the scriptures. Everything. Be it Sasnamam, Vishnu Sasnamam, Lalita Sasnamam, everything. The words, the namas are sacred. Whether you understand the meaning or not. You don't need to understand how a sweet is prepared. You don't need to go through the process of the sweet prepared to feel the sweetness. To enjoy the sweet, you don't need to understand the process. Understanding the process makes us give more respect to the scripture itself. It is not will not become vyartha. It will not become useless. When you keep reciting even without understanding the understanding the meaning, you still get the benefits. What benefit you get? You progress to the next stage. Everyone is progressing to the next stage. If you understand from the first step, you are going to the second step. If you are in the 10th step, you are going to the 11th step. It is like that. You are going to improve. The improvement is going to be there wherever you are, whether you are going to recite it with complete understanding or not. You are going to only progress. Wherever you are, you will be progressing to the next level. There is nothing wrong in that, but we have to continuously do it. So many times I have been reciting this for so many years. It is not with the knowledge what I am talking to you now, I started reciting. And I started reciting it only as a story. Everybody has to cross the preliminary course to come into the... With the improvement in other sectors, you are able to comprehend it much better. You are able to understand it much better. Your understanding of Bhagavad Gita when you are a teenager, or when you are in your college, or when you are now, after all the experiences life has taught you, it is totally different. Bhagavad Gita remained the same, the verses remain the same, there's no change in the verses, right? But your perception has completely changed about it. In the due course, we started what? With by-hearting the verses. Ratofai. No? By-heart it. I can recite Bhagavad Gita. At least 2 chapters I will recite. Like that, that motivation was there when you were a kid. But slowly, we stop with only one verse. Because one verse teaches so much. Your perception has changed. When you go deep into something, your perception has changed. That is what it is. There is nothing wrong if you are reciting without knowing the meaning also. Everyone is progressing in one direction. We go to the next step, you go to the next step as well. Because of that blessing, at some point of a time, you also will get to understand the meaning of that. The blessing is that the meaning will come if your efforts are sincere. That's what I tell people. I always tell me, there are so many questions that come in my channel. Mein bahut aata hai, like, they say what to do, next what. You don't go after next what. You do what you are doing. It will come on its own. If there is if the car is driving, it has to go from one place to another. It is inevitable. You are going in a vehicle, it has to go from this place, you have to move to the next place. It is going to eventually happen. Sitting here, you don't think about reaching there. It is going to eventually happen. Keep doing what you are doing. Process, automatically it happens. You don't need to. What we have to be very clear in our mind is, we have to be dedicated, we have to be sincere in what you are doing. Help comes automatically. The Guru is waiting for you there. When your devotion and your sincerity takes you, it just brings you at the feet of the Guru. Then you progress further. Climbing becomes easier when you meet him. No? It is like that. You don't go in search of it. It will come to you if you are sincere. So our criteria is only to be sincere. Things will automatically happen. So there is nothing wrong in knowing or reciting it without understanding the meaning. The blessing will be that you will get to understand the meaning in this Janma itself. That is what it is. Everyone is progressing. We are also knowing the meaning also, we are progressing. We are progressing to the next level. In the same way, you will be also progressing. Anything, there is no going backwards in this. There is only one direction towards that. Journey towards the ultimate. Okay. Guru Pya Namaha.